You think you need a whole Bitcoin to get rich, to finally slap that resignation letter on your boss's desk. That's exactly what they want you to believe, that it's too late, that the train has left the station, that you need a fortune just to get on board. But what if I told you the magic number isn't 1? What if I told you that just 10% of a Bitcoin, 0.1, could be your ticket to retiring in the next few years? Today we're going to do the math. We're going to run through a scenario that will show why 0.1 Bitcoin isn't just a lifeboat. It's a damn high-speed yacht to your own private island. Buckle up. Okay, let's tackle a myth right away. You've probably heard the most famous line about Bitcoin: there will only ever be 21 million. Great. Fantastic. But that's like knowing the first letter of the alphabet and thinking you can write a novel. Here's the secret, the number that should really keep you up at night. Right now, as you're watching this, 94% of all Bitcoin that will ever exist are already out there. They've been mined, they're in circulation. That means the entire world has to fight over the last 6% for the next 115 years. It's like showing up to a party where all the pizza has been eaten and there's only one slice left, but there are 50 hungry guests. Now, you might be thinking, 115 years is a long time, and that's where you're being fooled by the power of compounding, but in reverse. It's a supply shock that's going to sneak up on everyone. Right now, about 450 new Bitcoin are mined every day. The reward for the miners who secure the network is 3.125 BTC every 10 minutes. Sounds like a lot, right? But let's fast forward 11 years. A blink of an eye. After 2036, that reward plummets to just 0.19 Bitcoin. Not even a fifth of a coin. And here's where it gets really crazy. In the entire 4-year window between 2036 and 2040, a full 4 years, only 39,000 new Bitcoin will be created. Let me put that number into perspective. Just think of the most famous example, the company MicroStrategy. It alone has bought over 640,000 Bitcoin. One company, just one, has bought 20 times more Bitcoin than will be created in an entire decade from now. You still think there's no urgency? You still think you can just buy it whenever? If that doesn't set off alarm bells for you, this will. Because it's not just that fewer Bitcoin are being created. The Bitcoin that already exist are disappearing. Look at the exchanges. Coinbase, Binance, all the places where you buy. For the first time in Bitcoin's history, during a bull market, a massive, unprecedented wave of Bitcoin is leaving the platforms. In the last 2 years alone, 900,000 Bitcoin have been taken off the market and locked away in cold storage. This has never happened before. Normally, when the price goes up, people run to the exchanges to sell. Now, they're buying what they can and running for the exits with their coins in tow. The smart money is leaving the casino with its chips. Let's play a little game. There are about 2.5 million Bitcoin left on exchanges right now. If this trend of 900,000 coins disappearing every 2 years continues, well, you do the math. By mid-2025, the exchanges could be practically empty. The shelves are being cleared, and you know what happens when the shelves are empty and everyone still wants to buy. The price for the last few items doesn't just go up. It goes vertical. That's why getting your hands on even just 10% of a Bitcoin is so powerful. Because they can't print more. Because they can't change the code. Think about it. If the total supply of 21 million Bitcoin were distributed evenly among all 8 billion people on Earth, do you know how many could own 0.1 Bitcoin? Only 210 million people. Let's put that into context. Right now, there are about 50 to 60 million millionaires worldwide. Being a millionaire puts you in the upper class in most countries. Owning 0.1 Bitcoin puts you in a club that is potentially 3 times more exclusive than today's Millionaires Club. You're not just buying an asset, you're securing a membership in the financial lifeboat. But wait, it gets even better. Because we all know that Bitcoin isn't distributed evenly. And just as the supply is being squeezed into oblivion, who's knocking at the door with truckloads of cash? Wall Street. Nations that want to buy Bitcoin, corporations and institutions, the very same people who told you for a decade that it was rat poison squared. In the last 15 months, American ETFs have vacuumed up over 1.3 million Bitcoin. That's more than 6% of the entire supply, gone in just over a year. And publicly traded companies are sitting on millions more Bitcoin. Let's do the math. In the last 2 years, more than 10% of the entire Bitcoin network has been bought up by ETFs and corporations alone. What do you think will happen in the next 2 years? Will they stop, or are they just getting started? Will they even be able to buy another 10%? I don't know. Nobody knows. In a world of probabilities, I believe the probability of Bitcoin being under $100,000 in the near future is shrinking by the second. And here's the most important part, the one thing that will separate the future kings from the future serfs. You can watch the prize go to $1 million, $5 million, $10 million. You can see it on your exchange, but if you don't hold your own keys, you own exactly nothing. You have an IOU from a company that might just tell you, sorry, you can no longer access your Bitcoin. If you don't securely hold your 12 or 24 words, the key to your Bitcoin, in self-custody, you are just a spectator. Get a hardware wallet, like a Bitbox. Practice self-custody. Because not your keys, not your coins, end of story. I'll link a video in the first comment below showing you how to securely self-custody your Bitcoin. Okay, so you get it. The supply is a ticking time bomb. But now, let's make it personal. Let's forget the general examples and talk about you. I have a concrete scenario here. Maybe some of you will recognize yourselves in it. You're 30 years old, you hold 0.1 Bitcoin. You want to retire on 50,000 euros a year. Let's assume you'll also get a small pension, so 50,000 euros will be plenty. What does your path to freedom look like? Let's run the numbers. Your goal, 50,000 euros a year. But we know about inflation, that invisible thief that steals 3% of your purchasing power every year. That means in 20 years you won't need 50,000 euros, but over 90,000 euros a year just to maintain the same standard of living. Crazy, right? The hamster wheel just keeps getting faster. But you have your life raft, 0.1 Bitcoin. Its value today is about 10,500 euros. Doesn't sound like much, but now we're going to hit the turbo button. We'll use Michael Saylor's forecast for Bitcoin's growth, 28% growth per year. While your retirement goal slowly creeps away, the value of your Bitcoin explodes. Let's fast forward. Year after year, the magic of compound interest works its wonders. And when is the magic moment reached? For that, we'll use the famous 4% rule from the world of finance. It's very simple. Take your desired annual income, multiply it by 25, and you have the sum you need for retirement. You can then withdraw 4% from this large pot each year without it likely running out. Our calculation shows your Bitcoin wealth reaches this magic number in about 22 years. 22 years. That means you could retire at 52, not 67. At 52. While your colleagues are still sweating in the office and complaining about their meager pensions, you've beaten the system. And all because you hold 0.1 Bitcoin today. This isn't a distant fantasy. This is pure mathematics. This is the power you hold in your hands. It's your insurance against the system, your shortcut to financial sovereignty. Now you might say, but it's unrealistic for Bitcoin to grow that much every year for 22 years. Who knows? But the truth is, even if it doesn't grow by 28% a year, the game is far from over. Why? Because Bitcoin gives you options you never had before. In the future, there will be ways to use your Bitcoin as collateral with banks and borrow money without ever having to sell it. Or maybe you can put a portion of your Bitcoin to work for you and earn a passive income. Maybe you'll move to a country where your euros are suddenly worth 3 times as much. Maybe you'll earn a little extra on the side in retirement simply because you can, not because you have to. And maybe this is just the beginning and you'll accumulate much more Bitcoin over the years. I firmly believe that many will make it to retirement with Bitcoin and with far less than most think is possible. It's not about a single perfect plan. It's about taking back the power of choice. I hope you enjoyed this. Make your plan, set up a savings plan. And if you now want to know how to keep your hard-earned Bitcoin absolutely secure so that no one but you can access it, then watch our next video now.